Hey guys and girls, Mark here from seawildearth, and welcome once again to one of my favourite spots in Okinawa. This behind me is Cape Zampa. You can see these beautiful dramatic cliffs, and just over there in the background you've got the Zampa lighthouse, which has been the subject of numerous photographs of mine, which I'm sure you've seen in the past. And today we've come back because there's a certain aesthetic that I want to shoot today, and that is it's going to be a super long exposure again. I'm going to be using an ND10 or a 13.5 stop of aperture light filter. Now normally when you shoot super long exposure you associate that with the conditions of a very rough ocean or a very dramatic sky, neither of which we've got today. Okay, so the result that we're going to get today hopefully is going to be something that's going to be a bit more suave. It is going to be a black and white. I'm going to render it black and white because I think today the tones and what we're going to get in the sky is going to lend itself perfectly to that aesthetic. Sometimes with black and white you're looking at very angry kind of conditions, whereas today we're going to be looking at more kind of gentle, easy, kind of tranquil conditions, even though it's going to be conveyed in black and white. Not so much fine art. I don't really do or consider any of my work to be fine art. That's more kind of like for other people, I guess. Yeah, just one point, it is a bit windy today. I do have my famous dead cat on my microphone, so if you do get any wind, unfortunate, but that's just the conditions for today. So I'm going to get set up. I've got my stick set up already. If I do need to make any small changes I will make them, but yeah, let's have a good shoot. Okay, now with this lens, this is the Canon 70-200. It is the f4, but like I said, it doesn't really matter about the maximum aperture because we're shooting, as you can see, in nice bright sunlight. So I'm going to be closing down the aperture anyway, and I'm going to be shooting at with the ND10. Now I'm going to be using employing the Canon filter holder, which I have here. Now the default for the adapter ring on that is 82mm, whereas the filter thread of this particular lens is 67. So along with the filter holder you get this selection of step up rings so that you can then adapt the filter holder to fit. I've got the 67 to 82 adapter ring on there at the moment. That then fits on directly onto the filter holder adapter ring, which screws directly into that. If I can get the thing to screw in. Come on, let's go. There we go. See, it's not all easy peasy. And then quite simply the filter holder goes on. It's got this collar, like a flange around the outside of the adapter ring. You've got a little pull out spring loaded retaining clip there with two little shoulders. Those two little shoulders go over that flange. You pull out the retaining spring and let it slot into place, and there you go, all good. So all that remains now is for me to set up and get ready for my long exposure. Okay, now I've put my camera into autofocus because then it's so much easier for me to focus and to get a reading. So let's go ahead and do that. Select my autofocus point. Okay, I have the beep confirmation from the lens, so half pushing on the shutter button. I'm getting that confirmation that it's focused. So now I'm going to go ahead and lock the focus on the lens back to manual. And the reason that I do that is obviously when I put the strong filter in place, if the camera was going to be left on autofocus, what's going to happen is once you push the shutter in order to try and take the photograph, your camera then is going to start hunting because it is in autofocus. It's going to be so dark in front of the lens with that massive ND10 on it that the camera is just going to be hunting for a focal position and you're not going to be able to take your shot. Okay, so it's all set up now. I've got my composition, I've got the focus set, and I've got the shutter speed which at the moment it's giving me a unfiltered shutter speed at f11 ISO 100 of 1/160. Okay, so let me get my app out, and you can see a video that I done recently about how to use the particular app that I'm going to use today for my calculation. And so let me just quickly go into that. We are using the, it's going to be equal to about 15 stops, because I've got a soft grad that I'm going to use in place, and that's going to take up about another 1.5 apertures of light. Okay, so I'm going to calculate for a 15 stop filter, and my unadjusted shutter speed is going to be 160. And it's giving me 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay, so let's get that set up on this particular camera. Okay, now if I want to have such a massive shutter speed, 3 minutes 20 seconds, I'm not going to be able to get that in manual mode because the default options on the camera in manual mode are only to a maximum of 30 seconds. So in order to get this, I have to switch to bulb mode. Okay, from there I'm going to make sure that I'm in f11 ISO 100. Let me just change my auto white balance, and let's go to Sunday to a sunny day. There we go. Okay, and pray for a nice photo, I guess. Anyway, okay, so we're on daylight setting, ISO 100 f11, and now I'm going to go into my menu. Okay, and on bulb timer I'm going to enable that. Where are we? Oh, I can't really see in this strong weather, strong sun. There we go. Bulb timer, enable. Okay, let's go back into there, and then if I go into info, I can then scroll across, hit the minutes. Now with this particular camera, I can shoot to a maximum of almost 100 hours in one long exposure if I wanted to. But today we're going to be shooting just 3 minutes and 20 seconds, but it will go to 99 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. There you go. So almost 100 hours. But anyway, so I've got the 3 minutes set in. Press enter. Let's go across to minutes. Go up to 20. Enter, and then put that to OK. And now my bulb timer is set to 3 minutes 20 seconds. So once I hit the shutter, boom, it's going to enable. It's going to expose for 3.5 minutes, or 3 minutes 20 seconds. I've now set my shutter speed to 3 minutes 20 seconds, so that all that remains now is for me to put my filters in place. First off, I'm going to put in my soft grad and set my graduation point for the sky, and then I'll place my hard filter in, and then there's just one more step that I like to do before I take the shot, and I'll go through that with you right now. Okay, well here we have I'm going to put my filters on to begin with, and I'm going to start off, I always start off, especially when you're working with very strong ND filters, I'll always do my grad first, and that always goes on the outside slot, and then from there you can then just adjust and put in your graduation point as you need it. Okay, now as you can see, the grad I'm going to be using, the 10,000, it is crazy thick. It almost looks pretty much like welding glass, okay, which is pretty much what it is. But as you can see, and it just kind of reinforces that last point that I made, once you've got this in front of the lens, it's not going to be able to see through that, just to autofocus. So once that goes into place, the camera pretty much is going to be blind, and that's why we set it all up to begin with. Now, if there is one shortfalling of this particular filter holder, it's this. There's no marker on the top that allows me to know when I've put my filter in low enough for it to be able to cover the bottom gasket on the filter holder, which may be something that I write to Canon about and tell them, maybe they'll make an adjustment. But anyway, we're all set up and we're all good to go. Now, the only last thing that I want to do, and I always do it, just a force of habit I guess, is I always bring some Scotch tape with me. Okay, ta-da! It's the photographer's friend, and what I do is, because we're going to do such a long exposure in the middle of the day, I always like to cover up the eyepiece, but more importantly is I like to put a strip across this area here to stop any light going down between the two filters. I've got a longer piece And that one here is going to go, oh excuse me, that one's going to go on the filter. It's on the main two filters on top of the glass. Okay, and then just back down onto the filter holder. So now no light can go down in between the two filters that are on the front of the camera lens. Okay, we are all good to go. So now all that remains is for me to take the photograph. Let's see how it comes out. And once everything is set, we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take the shot, and I'll see you in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So what remains for me now, folks, is just to wait for the exposure. I'm going to put that up on the screen at the end of the video, but that's pretty much it from me today. I'm going to love you and leave you. Please, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. Hit that little notifications bell so that you'll be updated as and when new content is available from yours truly. And I will hope to see you in the very near future somewhere on SeaWildearth in order to catch up with the next adventure from here on the beautiful island of Okinawa. Stay safe, stay sane if possible, but above all, stay healthy. And I'll catch up with you again sometime soon. Cheers guys, cheers girls, take care.